Hey folks, so today is June 1st, 2026, and against my better judgment, we're going to harvest the Yukon Golds today, and a couple reasons why. One, we're still in drought conditions, so they're probably not going to push a whole lot of growth out there. I'm not really doing much in the way of hand watering because all I have is my well that the house runs off of, and I just don't want to, stress that system. Two, we're running into a lot of heat right now. We got an okay day today. It's going to be a little cooler tomorrow, but then in a couple days we're going to have a stretch of 90s again, and that's just not great potato growing weather. That's all one reason. So I'm not expecting much in the way of these things to finish out. They've been in the ground just shy of 3 months. They went in, I think, March 7th. But the second reason, this is the more important reason to me, is I've got sweet potato slips under cover right now that have been in cell packs that are too small for too long, and they really are itching to get in the ground. And the bed right behind you, next to the asparagus, is the wider bed that I have that would fit probably a good 50 slips in there. And I've got about 50 in there. I've got 47 potato plants, Yukon Gold, in this bed. I can swap 47 for 47 really easily and get them, the sweet potato slips, in a better position than they're in right now, and even give them a good solid 4 months, June, July, August, full September for an October harvest. They're gonna yield better than these potatoes are gonna give me with those extra days in the ground. And these guys have an extra days in the ground. So I want to get them out for that reason alone. For those two reasons, actually. And yeah, I want to take you along for the journey. So let me show you what we're working with. This is a Yukon Gold bed. We've got 3 rows, 16, 15, 16 for 47. And this Yukon Gold bed right here is 17 and 17. I'm going to leave the Kennebecs and the Pontiac Reds to do some more finishing over the next week or so. Because I don't have any sweet potato slips that are stressed right now that I need that space for, but these 2 beds can definitely get utilized. I think this is gonna be today and that's gonna be tomorrow. Now, anybody who's looking at this and their first thought is gonna be, whoa, you're pulling them way too early. Yes, I'm pulling them way too early. They could take more time in there. Again, I don't think they're gonna produce that great in that time, and even if they could, I'm more concerned with getting the sweet potato slips in. So let's go ahead and not worry about the fact that ideally you're taking your potatoes out when you have more dieback on the plant. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not looking to chase great yields out of this bed at this point. So whatever I get with this, I'm going to be happy with. So if we want to address yield for a minute, what I can say is this. I had 107 Yukon Gold pieces off 13.5 pounds of seed potato. So extrapolate that out, 47 pieces in here. We've got about 6 pounds in this bed, 5.9, 6 pounds. And again, if you get a 10x conversion, we're probably 59, 60 pounds. I'm expecting closer to 50 pounds if I'm lucky. Again, because I'm lacking the time, we didn't have the water. They got bit by frost a couple times. Not as bad as the Pontiac Reds and the Kennebecs, but they took a little bit of damage in some of the earlier frosts. And each of my 5-gallon buckets should fit about 20 pounds in there. I'll probably separate it out between the big ones and the small ones before I put them under cover. But I will take them inside and put them on our bathroom scale just to get a rough estimate of how much I have, because I know people like to kind of get an idea of what yields are. I do too when I watch these videos, so I want to make sure I can share that with you. But let me show you what my process is and we can get to work. So here is the first plant. You can see that I've mounded up some potting mix or some compost over here because I'll take this one off right now. We've already got a good sized potato there. I was trying to keep him from getting too green, which I am red-green colorblind to a pretty reasonable extent, so I do struggle to see the green. My wife can see it really well, and she says, well, that one's green, you're eating it. So I do. Never made me sick. They're not that bad, and most of the time they're not green, so small amount probably isn't gonna kill me. But what I'm gonna do first before I harvest, I'm gonna go through this whole bed and we're gonna go ahead and cut the foliage back almost to the ground, but just high enough so I can see where each plant was, so that when I go through afterwards, I can go ahead and remove them a lot easier without having to work around the foliage. So let me go ahead and get set up and start chopping those back. We're gonna go ahead and put all of the cuttings, you know what? Look what we got here. Colorado potato beetle, folks. These are all over these plants. It's one of the reasons that the yields on the Kennebecs and the Pontiac Reds, along with those frosts, are going to be so low this year. A lot of the plants just got destroyed by these this year, and I didn't do anything really in the way of keeping them off, because after we got bit by the frost so badly, I just kind of gave up on the crop. Shame on me, but I live with my mistakes. But we're going to go ahead and take all these plants out physically with the pruners, and we'll get them through the shredder. And then we'll come back and get these harvested. So yeah, give me a couple minutes, we'll get the plants out. All right, let's go in for a close-up. See how to harvest these things. So right now we're in the southwest corner of this bed. Best kind of angle I can take so I don't throw too much of a shadow across what I'm trying to do. So my harvesting method is not that complex. I really just sort of move the organic matter out of the way. I dig in there, I pull out with my hands just to, you know, avoid kind of scratching any of the surface of the potato. I got red ants all around me right now, so this is going to be kind of fun. And yeah, so let's go ahead and just dig around right off the bat. Got ourselves a little snowman, but he's probably about a half a pound right there. And sometimes I just grab the whole stalk and pull gently. And yeah, we got some good ones here. And this is the seed potato piece. You can see, and this is actually a good moment to sort of take a look at what a potato piece can look like. When I cut them, I basically just look for chits that I like the look of, and I slice around them. So they can be any shape and still produce. I mean, this is just a flat disc. And yeah, not bad. And these little guys here, completely edible. I'm going to keep them separate from the good sized ones because I just don't want to kind of commingle. Wow. And then we got yet another snowman. So from that little sliver, we've got 3 pretty good sized pieces right there. And is there anything more in there? Those 2 plus the 5 small guys. Let's find out. We're going to dig around gently, because I really, like I said, I don't want to damage any skin if I'm encountering them. But I think that's, it feels like that's about it. So yeah, I can go ahead and smooth that back over. And when it comes time, the sweet potato slip is going to go right there. And that's my harvesting process. Like I said, no tools because my ground is nice and loose, because this is now the start of the 5th year, I think, in this area where organic matter has been just added to the top of the soil year over year over year over year. And that's what I can get to over time, is through that practice, a soil like this, where I'm dealing with typically red clay. Yeah, you can improve your soil. It takes time, but the organic matter really does make it worthwhile of a practice. And that's how we harvest. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get the bed cleared and make sure I get these potatoes in a bucket so they don't actually start greening up on me. So not only are the potatoes out, but the bed is raked. It is smacked flat and ready for the sweet potato slips to go in. And here's what we got. Not quite full, 2 3/4 of about way up. Got some really decent sized ones in here, and not a crazy amount of small ones. And again, they would have sized up a little bit more had I given them a few more weeks, but I wasn't going to do that, so I didn't. And then we got our scraps here. I'm going to go ahead and take those inside, put them on the scale, see what we got, and report back to you. 40 pounds after removing the bucket weight. So yeah, really pedestrian showing on that. Now I'm actually kind of glad I took them out when I did, because I found a few of them that had what appears to be some blight damage. So it's a fungal infection, best I know, and it can infect other potatoes around it. So when that happens, best to get them out before they do too much damage. But yeah, this is going to be actually the best yielding variety I have this year. And again, it was too early, not enough rain. All those factors really conspired against me. The frosts that were halfway through the growing cycle that bit some of them back. But it's further telling me why my potato growing career, for at least the foreseeable future, is pretty much done. I don't have any interest in growing this crop anymore. I would rather have the 2 weeks. If these were not in the ground at all, the beds would have been empty, and on May 10th, I probably could have had sweet potato slips in there, giving them an extra 20 days on the front side versus getting them out today. They were ready to go, and those 20 days are probably going to yield probably an extra sweet potatoes as much as this whole bed yielded in total potatoes. So this is what we've got. And again, one thing I'm actually not too disappointed in is the average size. We got a very, very fair number of decent sized potatoes. All of those little ones would have sized up, and the micro ones I brought inside, I'll soak them for about 5 minutes, give them a bit of a wash, and they can go right in the air fryer as their current size. Cook up, and that's an easy one for a breakfast ad. To show you guys, I think that's blight in the root. So yeah, that's and it came off of, I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2 plants. I didn't see any visual damage on the plant's leaves, but yeah, not good. Funny enough, I think these look like either russets or Kennebecks, probably russets, but the shop from where I buy my potatoes, they don't even carry russets. They carry Kennebec, Pontiac Red, and Yukon Gold. So not sure how that wound up in there because they were pre-packed in 5-pound bags, but yeah, potato's potato, I'm fine with that. And so for my regular viewers, this is going to be the first and last potato harvest video I'm going to do. I just don't expect anything worthwhile to come out of any other bed that I have. And we're going to still clear them like over the next couple of weeks, just as the sweet potato slips that I have under cover continue to root out more and more, because I've been propagating over a long period of time. As it looks like I have about 40 to go out, I'll pull a bed, put 40 new ones in, 40 out, 40 in, so on and so forth, until we just wind up with nothing but sweet potato beds out there. And that is going to be a beautiful sight, because I know for my climate, hot, humid, and a long summer into a warm early fall, 90 to 110 days of sweet potatoes yields a crazy amount of a final product. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw today, even though it wasn't an overly impressive yield. It was still fun to pull. Not necessarily looking forward to having to pull 7 more beds with the yields I'm expecting, but them's the breaks and you work through it. So in the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.